My 32M girlfriend, 35F, doesn't like that I have a female friend. Edit, update. I see a lot of the same types of questions, so I figured I'd address some. My friend has many friends of both genders, way more than me. She cooks with, for all of them, it's her thing. She's dated before but largely doesn't anymore. She's content being single, and again that's her thing. My last major relationship was 9 years long, 4 of them married, which ended in divorce because I was cheated on by her, just a friend. So I am not blind to my girlfriend's feelings in this. Would I be upset if my girlfriend did the same activities with a male friend? No. Because I value trust between one another until it is broken. I don't make assumptions, and that's even with my history. I do not prioritize my friend over my girlfriend. My girlfriend lives an hour away and I still make time to see her 2-3 times a week. For this reason, we have to plan our time together, and she cannot on a whim come hang out with my friend and me, it has to be planned. People saying cooking is somehow intimate is bizarre and not a valid comment to me. It feels like 2 dudes hanging out together that have to say, no homo, just to validate that they're not doing anything gay. Activities are not inherently dates, nor do they inherently lead to sex. I'm a grown-ass man, and yes, I do cook with, for my male friends too. Thinking about what holes I can stick my dick in is not something that permeates my brain 24/7, but maybe some people do that. Now the update: she called me late last night apologizing. She's filled with a lot of regret and remorse for her actions, and I respect her a lot for doing so. I want to work this out with her, but I also have some fear of seeing that version of her again. Hopefully we can figure this out and work past it. And #X200B. For context, I am a divorced dad, and she is a single mom, and we've been together for 4 months. It is not a long time, but we've really grown close in these months. One thing that I liked about her most is how into mental health she is, and boundaries, and building a healthy relationship. She comes from a history of bad relationships and trauma, and finds joy in my maturity in the relationship. However, today she snapped, and not since my divorce have I felt so much anxiety, stress, and coldness from someone I care about. She is mad. So what is she mad about? And #X200B. 2.5 years ago I matched with a girl with online dating. We chatted a bit and really hit it off. However, we realized pretty quickly there was no spark or flirtation or any physical attraction between us, but we liked the company, banter so much that we decided to be friends. COVID was going strong, and coming out of my divorce I didn't have many friends, whereas she just moved to my city and didn't know anybody, so we really became close platonic friends. Over those 2 years we hung out pretty regularly, discussing dates we had or trying new foods, or since we both like to cook, we sometimes cooked together, or went to the movies. You know, usual friend stuff. She grew into being one of my closest friends. Admittedly, she likes to hang out a lot, like once a week at least. Whereas I'm more introverted, usually enjoying time to myself more often. So we usually hung out once every week or 2 as a compromise. And #X200B. Now in January I met my current girlfriend. On the first date I told her about my friends, including my female friend. She was a bit awkward about it, but generally was accepting of it. However, pretty early I noticed she would make snarky comments whenever I said I was going to hang out with my female friend. I slowly stopped seeing my friend as often, to where I went about 2.5 months without seeing her. She started to get frustrated that I wasn't down to hang out like we were, so I tried to find time to see her again. We hung out twice in early April, and after that second hangout my girlfriend got sad. She told me it made her uncomfortable hanging out so often with her. I explained how platonic it really is, but that I would try to space out our hangouts. And #X200B. So. 0.3 weeks. 0.23 days actually, went by and I was invited over to my friend's house to cook and catch up on her work gossip she likes to tell me about. I messaged my girlfriend that night that I was going to go hang out and cook with her, so she knew what I was doing. Well, this triggered her apparently. She didn't talk to me the rest of the night. The next day she sent me an audio text telling me how inappropriate it is, and that I see her all the time, and how sick of it she is, and, "You went to go play house with your other girlfriend," describing cooking as intimate and boyfriend-girlfriend activities. Obviously these are major insecurities for her, so I tried to explain that I have only seen my friend 5 times this year. I see my girlfriend 2-3 times a week, and that "playing house" is a hurtful generalization. My friend went to culinary school, so we have cooked together many times, it's not that weird. And #X200B. Well, she didn't care. She basically gave me an ultimatum, announcing I should only be allowed to see her every 2 months and most likely only if she went with me. I told her that's completely unreasonable. This is a friend I've had for a while now and we already see each other far less than we used to. Keep in mind they've never met, and I've suggested introducing them. More or less she hung up on me while I was borderline in tears because I'm an emotional dude, telling me she didn't want to talk anymore. Up to this point the relationship has been so good, and so healthy, and all issues have been worked out so beautifully, so this turn of character honestly scared the fuck out of me. I fear the relationship might end here and now over such a simple innocent thing. And #X200B. Too long did not read. My girlfriend might break up with me if I don't stop hanging out with my opposite sex friend that is purely platonic. I already rarely see my friend, and I'm basically just not going to do that. And #X200B. A pretty strong bond of love has formed with my girlfriend, but this change of character so suddenly feels like the biggest red flag getting shoved up my ass. I'm pretty much wondering if this is just how it ends, so abruptly, or if there is a middle ground that can be found here. I thought I had found some middle ground, but that doesn't seem to be working for her. A woman getting upset is not a red flag. Just throwing that in here. What she's upset about is completely valid. Most people on this thread are saying the same thing. It might not be what you want to hear, but this friend seems to be the one enjoying the control she has. Because damn, if I can get my platonic guy friend to ditch his girlfriend and come cook for me and have deep intimate conversation with me, I must have some power over that man. You're thinking like a guy here. But take it from the women on this thread, your friend knows exactly what she's doing. And your girlfriend knows it too. Prioritize her, bud. Don't write her off just because she's upset. Your girlfriend has every right to set the boundaries she's comfortable with, and you have every right to accept it or not. This is a decision you have to make, girlfriend or back up. Nah, she's right, that's inappropriate, not a red flag for her to be upset. I know it sucks, but you can't have your cake and eat it too. Just how it is. Your ex. You're going on dates with your ex, playing cozy kitchen with your ex, and you're about to be dumped because you chose your ex. My husband trusts me no matter who I am with because he knows I love him more than anything. All of my good friends are men that I've known for 20+ years. Although at this point he hangs out with them more than I do. And yes, my relationship with them has made some of their partners uncomfortable over the years. But I have tried to make all of the partners feel loved as well. Find a partner that trusts you because your love is so strong. I, 33F, found a GPS tracker in my car installed by my boyfriend, 33M. I need support and advice on this. I recently found a GPS tracking device in the car that I drive, registered to my boyfriend. We've been together for a couple of years now and we have an 18-month-old together as well as a combined 5 kids, 3 from his previous marriage and 1 from my previous relationship. I found it because my boyfriend called me freaking out and accusing me that I was cheating on him because I went to my old apartment building to get some mail. He claims he installed this device in the car to monitor the oil leak issue, which had been happening for about 2 months, and that it was only in there for a week, but upon my investigation, it turns out he bought the device months prior to any oil issue, which he doesn't know I know yet. It doesn't monitor oil issues. It can turn the engine off, it allows for geo-fencing and it alerts if the car has gone out of the area. It's completely insane. He bought it a week after he went through my phone without permission and he knew how violating that was. I asked him why he didn't tell me about installing the GPS and he said he just forgot to mention it. I call bull. I had a feeling he had been tracking me because he calls me almost every time I leave the house. When he accused me of cheating, he was then saying suicidal things such as, "Tell the kids I love them. Just know I loved you," etc., etc. So I told him over the phone that I was calling the police. He then said he left the house and he was done. He told me he took his gun out and was thinking of using it on himself. He checked himself into the that night for having these thoughts and he agreed to therapy once a week, but he has yet to attend a follow-up session. He cancelled the first one claiming it was too much money, but he has no problem dropping money on going out tonight and drinks at a bar. I feel incredibly violated and abused, honestly. I feel like I no longer trust him at all, especially after he gained back my trust after going through my phone. I think I am leaving him for my own mental sanity and peace because I resent him so much right now, but I am afraid he is going to harm himself. I know that's not my responsibility, but I can't help but be scared of that. This is a man who has serious insecurity issues, calls, texts me multiple times a day, and we both have day jobs, and it seems like he feels he needs to go everywhere with me. Anytime I want to go somewhere on my own, he gets moody. I've never cheated on him. Can this relationship be saved? This relationship is not worth saving. This is abuse. Be mentally prepared to get an insane response from him if you do break up. The only way this relationship can be saved is at the cost of your own physical and mental health. This is both violation and abuse. You need to get out and get safe. This is the sort of man that kills their partner. Get that gun away from him. He should not have access to it. If you live in a state with red flag laws, call your local PD and describe the threats he's made, plus the stalker behavior. If you don't live in one of those states, just take the gun and give it to a trusted relative or friend who you know won't give it back to him. Even if you get in trouble for theft, better that than dead. My 25 female boyfriend, 28 male, went to my friend's funeral when I asked him not to. This happened months ago, but it's been bothering me for a while, and I'm not sure how to feel about it. Back in November, a friend of mine was tragically murdered by her ex. She was my good friend, 25 female, from high school, and although I hadn't seen her in person in a while, it was still pretty tough. I wanted to go to the funeral for some closure. Now my boyfriend had never met this friend of mine. Though I've definitely talked about her to him before, he seemed to take a particular interest in the case. A few months prior to her death, he had matched with her on Tinder. Long story why he was on Tinder while we're together. Kinda sorta open relationship stuff. Not relevant, but yeah. So I guess he was just in this headspace of, whoa, someone I connected with in some way was murdered. I don't blame him for that, although sometimes I did feel he found the case a little too interesting, whereas I was just kinda trying to grieve, you know? Anyway, her funeral comes around, and my boyfriend wants to go, but I tell him I don't want him to. He didn't know her really, and I just wanted to go with my mom and not basically bring a date to a funeral. He said he really wanted to go because he was curious about what was gonna be said. He even mentioned that he could just go separately from me and my mom so it'd be less weird. But I felt like that would still be weird and did not want him to do that. Well, lo and behold, he did end up going to the funeral on his own, and he brought his mother. Luckily I didn't see him during the funeral and only found out he and his mom came when he called me to ask if I saw him. Apparently he saw me. I was honestly kinda peeved he pulled this. I mean, yeah, I get that he was curious if they would address the case and whatnot, but she was my friend, not his, and I did ask him not to go. It just felt really disrespectful, not just to me but to her as well. Like it's a funeral, not a talk. So IDK if I'm making a bigger deal out of this than I need to. Maybe I had no right to tell him not to attend her funeral as it was open to the public, but I hate that he did that and I don't know how to express to him why that bothered me so much. What should I even say to him, if anything? Too long did not read. Boyfriend had never met my friend who was killed, but went to her funeral with his mom separate from me after I told him I didn't want him to come, and now I feel really bothered by that. He was sleeping with her 100%. You don't show that much insistence on going to a woman's funeral you just Tinder matched a few months ago. Add in the lying and him bringing his mother? He slept with her. He brought his mother? He sounds shady, that's so messed up. The way I see it, he either knew her much better than he let you know, or he's a creep crashing funerals out of curiosity and his weird interest in her death while ignoring your feeling altogether. I'd be out either way. Red flags everywhere. 1. You specifically asked him not to go and he did anyway. And 2. Either he is a true crime spectator sort or he knew her better than he's admitted and isn't telling you the truth. I think you should run away from this guy. You lost me at they matched on Tinder because you sort of have an open relationship. M27F26 I am an idiot. Hey Reddit. This is my first ever post. I fully understand the dangers of posting a request for unsolicited advice from unverified therapists, total strangers online, and people who use boards like this to project their own personal traumatic experiences. I just don't have anyone else to ask. My wife and I have been separated since the beginning of the year. Well, living separately in an effort to focus on ourselves and heal our own traumas from events we experienced together. We've been doing weekly dates and trying to rekindle our romance. This evening we went out on a date, and I made it back to our house before she did. I got this gross feeling and I betrayed her privacy and went through her text messages on her smartwatch. I found all sorts of messages from a very close coworker. He's having her over to his place at least once a week. He recently moved and she helped him pack up his stuff and bought him pots and pans. I feel like this is excusable, but it's the other stuff. She's calling him daddy. He's asking for head. She offered to fuck him platonically because she's so sexually frustrated from me being gone. He tells her about his big dick and she knows he's loud when he comes. I confronted her when she got home. Those were all inside jokes, and she swears she hasn't done anything with him. Trust me, I know how I sound. I don't know if I'm ready to face the music. She's never lied to me before and I really want to believe that she's telling the truth. I just don't know if that matters anymore. This has already happened to me in a past marriage with a different woman, who was cheating with so many other dudes. There is so much more to all of this than I care to expose. I am not controlling. I don't demand her to do things for me, or push her in any direction, and I have never told her to cut anyone out her life. I've always let her do what she wants, within reason. She told me she knew it would hurt me when I found out and that she did it so she would feel something, and to see if I even cared enough. I already know the answer. I just don't want to go through another divorce. I am genuinely such an idiot. Since this community needs a specific question. Do I leave, or do I try to make this one work? My guy, reading this made me so sad. You're 27, about to be twice divorced. You don't need a wife. You need to go to therapy and focus on yourself. What are you doing with your life, my dude? This marriage is long past over. Wake up and smell the horse shit, brother. A married woman shouldn't have those kinds of inside jokes with another man. Not that I believe that's all they are. She can't have her cake and eat it too. She either stops the inside jokes, so you can try to fix your marriage, or you get a divorce. I'm sorry for both of you during this time. I wish you well. Been there, don't wish it on my worst enemy. I think you both also need therapy, individually and together. If she hasn't cheated, you should also be allowed to look at her phone. If she won't let you, I'd tell her I'm sorry, but it just won't work between us. I'm assuming she's aware of your past relationship? You didn't really say what the issues were in your relationship. They are best addressed by a qualified therapist. Since you're separated, did you and her have a boundaries discussion while separated, since you're still technically married? If you saved screenshots, depending on your state, you can sometimes get a faster divorce because of cheating. Wow, the evidence is right there. Believe what you read in your gut. As soon as you foolishly agree to separate at all, it's over 99% of the time anyway. Check it in. You've tried twice at marriage, never get married again. How have you already had 2 marriages by 26? Might be time to actually start vetting people more thoroughly before making these kind of commitments.